Hello everyone. Thank you for joining in today's webinar. So we'll just start off right away. The topic of the webinar is basically location intelligence and Google Maps platform India launch. For the people who know, Google Maps has been going under a transition. There has been change in the pricing models. New features have been added to the products. So this webinar would certainly cover all these changes, and that will be preceded by us explaining what is Google Maps platform and the reasons why Google has made these changes. So let me introduce myself first. I'm Satyam. I work as a Google Maps consultant at Searce. Along with me, I have Gaurav. Gaurav heads the enterprise sales for Google India for Google Maps. So the agenda of the call is introducing Google Maps platform, introducing Sears, what is Sears, how Sears helps organization with their cloud and business transformation. Then we'll explain the new licensing model. And for the existing customers of Google Maps, how will this transition affect them? We will certainly explain all of those, and how can Sears support in your Google Cloud journey. So I hand over the presentation to Gaurav now.
Thank you so much, Satyam, for the introduction. And good morning, everyone. I'm very happy and excited to be here with all of you. It's a beautiful morning here in Delhi. I'm dialing from the Gurgaon office. I have my coffee right next to me, giving me company. The weather is hot and humid, but it is getting a little bit overcast. So I'm hoping and wishing that it'll rain soon in Delhi. I realize that some part of India has already started receiving monsoon. So back here in Delhi, all of us are also eagerly waiting. So on that optimistic note, let's start today's presentation on Google Maps. So please do excuse me if my voice sounds a little hoarse. I have a little bit of a bad throat. So I'll try to go slow. So we have an exciting agenda ahead. What we'll do is I'll try to cover my piece in about 15 minutes, which will give you a basic overview of how Google Maps is being leveraged by companies across sectors. As they say, inspiration can come from any industry. So watch out for that in my slides. And then I'll be passing it on to Satyam from Sears, who would be walking you through on how to navigate this change which is coming through in the world of Google Maps, and in fact how to use it to your advantage. And we'll probably keep last 10 minutes for about Q&A. So I hope that sounds like a plan. So let's get started. So to begin with, I would like to share with you why location is important for all of us before we get into more business. So there was an interesting study conducted by Forbes recently, and it said that 90% of the data which exists right now was created in the last 2 years. And 80% of that data has or will have a location component. I will give you a moment to digest that information. And not just that, all the devices that we use today are getting connected one way or the other. Think IoT. To put things in perspective, there are about 23 billion IoT connected devices right now. And this number is going to become 3x in the next 6 years, which means there will be, on an average, 6 devices per human being on the planet. And you can only imagine the amount of data which these devices will churn, making the relevance of location even more relevant and important. Next slide, please. So I would like you to take a moment and think about the company that you come from, the industry that you belong to, the roles that you play in your organization. And it is likely that you would be doing one of the three things. You would either be working on improving your customer experiences one way or the other, or you would be working in a manner that you would end up optimizing your company operations, improving the efficiency, leading to cost benefit gains, or you would be involved in some kind of a strategic decision making, like where should I expand, which new market, which new partner, which new vendor, which new city should I go to, one of the two. And if you are solving one of these three big problems, Google Maps is definitely there to help you. Next slide, please. So now that we have understood why location is important for us, I would like to spend some time with you to go through on why we recommend Google Maps platform be considered as a platform of your choice. And here are some of the reasons. The first reason is whenever you think of a navigation service, a geo service, a map service, the first and foremost criteria which most of our clients speak about is they want real time information, they want accurate information. And that's exactly what Google Maps provide. And how do we do that? We have billions of Android devices being used at the same time, providing real time information. We have more than billion monthly users using Google Maps, providing consumer information and giving feedback real time. All this information adds to providing real time accurate data which is used for your business decision making. So what it really means is by the time we would finish this webinar, we probably would have done more than a million updates already in our Google Maps platform, which is why we end up sharing more than 25 million daily updates across the globe. Second reason, apart from information being real time and accurate, it is also imperative that the information is rich. And how do we do that? We've got more than 60 million local guides, as we call them, whose job is to look for a new petrol pump, a new ATM, a new railway station, a new restaurant, a new bar, and help update information like their opening closing hours, their reviews, their pricing, their menu, so on and so forth. To the extent that we are able to provide more than 20 million such updates on a regular basis, making sure that the information that we provide to you is rich. Third reason, it is a soft reason, but very important, that when you are serving your customers, you want to give them a user interface which they are familiar with, which they love. And Google Maps platform is the most used platform across the globe by various consumers. And hence, this becomes the third most important reason why this probably should be a platform of your choice. Fourth reason, we may be working for an Indian company, but in today's age, we work with partners, we work with clients who are spread across the globe. And hence, we would prefer a platform which is global. So even though you may buy a license in India, the advantage of Google Maps platform is it lets you perform any navigation, any geolocation intelligence across any part of the globe. We pretty much have 99% of the world covered. It supports most of the commonly spoken languages. And hence, this is another strong reason why Google Maps platform could potentially be a platform of your choice. Next slide, please. Which is why it is not really a surprise that Google Maps is used by small and big companies alike. So what you see on this slide are some names of some small and large companies. So we are our platform is used and loved as much by small startups as it is by some big Fortune 500 companies. Next slide, please. Now I would like to spend a little bit of a time with you on discussing how some other clients have used our platform, just to give you an inspiration and idea on what are some of the use cases where our platform could come in handy. So let's start with the first example. This example is of a real estate company called Trulia. It is an American real estate company. Think of a situation where you are trying to buy a home or rent a home and you go to a website and it gives you like an Excel sheet which tells you, okay, house number one, address one, house number two, address two, this is the size, blah, blah, blah. It serves your job, but you're not really delighted, right? You're like, okay, yeah, this is a house somewhere in Vasant Vihar. This is a house somewhere in Koramangala. This is a house somewhere in Gachibowli in Hyderabad. And that's exactly the challenge Trulia was facing. So what they did was they partnered with Google Maps and they converted everything to visual. So now when a customer, prospective buyer goes on their website, they are able to see and visualize their intended home in the context. So they are able to see the schools nearby, they're able to see the parks nearby, and the company worked along to publish information like, crime rate, weather conditions, markets nearby, hospitals, ATMs, and suddenly the perspective changes. And not surprising, that led to a substantial increase in their web and mobile visitors. Next case study is also very interesting. It is of a name which most of us are familiar with, a company called Big Basket. Um, Satyam, if you can do one more click. It is a startup which has been in existence for about 8-9 years now. And when they started with an audacious goal of returning 10% of the order value if the order was not delivered within an hour. And those of you who are familiar with this industry, I'm sure you're aware that this industry operates on razor thin margins, and returning 10% delivery could be a big deal. And hence they had to make sure that their delivery folks are able to get the exact address, they are able to take the exact route which has least amount of traffic, and the food and groceries delivered bang on time. And they did exactly that using Google Maps platform. No wonder they were able to deliver more than 1 million groceries in more than 2 dozen cities across the country. The next case study is of an insurance company called Allstate. Satyam, one more click, please. Which is into various kinds of insurance, including home. And when they partnered with Google Maps, what they did was they came up with a new interesting product called Good Home, where they started publishing a lot of relevant information like weather, typical costly claims, which help consumers understand that when they're buying insurance product, what is it that they should be aware of. And they realized over a period of time that the intention to get a quote went up by more than 3.5 times, which is very impressive. And insurance industry is all about getting a quote and then converting that consumer. So that's a very interesting case study. The next case study is is just coming up. One more click, please. Is of a company called Fleetminder. It's in the logistics and last mile delivery space. And the problem that they were facing was they had a lot of overtime, they had a lot of inefficient driving, and most of all, they had a lot of incorrect deliveries. And all this was happening because they had a very manual intensive process. So they partnered with Google Maps. They realized that their drivers were able to take the right route, and they were also able to get the exact address where the deliveries had to be done, leading to substantial drop in employee overtime and incorrect deliveries. The next example is a very interesting example of a leading telecom player that most of us are familiar with, Vodafone. One challenge which they were facing was whenever they used to get a new request of a new subscriber or a cable broken down somewhere, they had a manual intensive process of somebody having to go and physically visit the site, leading to a turnaround time of 5 days. Clearly, something which customers were not happy with. I mean, they had no other choice, but they were not happy with. They partnered with Google Maps and one of our technology partners and came up with a product called Smart Visibility, where a lot of these dimensions, distance calculations, etc., were possible through Google Maps, leading to a drop of turnaround time for 5 days to 2 days, not only leading to customer delight, but also leading to a substantial increase in capacity of how much orders could they service. Impressive, isn't it? The next example is of a company called Harley Davidson, a brand that most of us adore. And if there are some biker enthusiasts amongst us, you would imagine that bikers typically would go to the last level of detailing while planning their trips, especially on weekends. I mean, some like urban landscapes, some like a landscape which is through forest, some like a landscape which is through hills. Unfortunately, Street View is not allowed in India yet, but most countries outside India are able to use Street View, and it lets you imagine your landscape when you are planning your route. And that's exactly what Google Maps allowed them to do. And not just that, people like to share their experiences. People like to share where they found the nearest ATM, petrol pump, and all that was powered through Google Maps on the Harley Davidson application, leading to millions of rides being planned on the maps based website planner. Next slide, please. So, this is a very interesting example from a banking space where I'm sure when you get your credit card statement, especially some of us who travel a lot, face two big challenges. One, we think, oh, where did I swipe my card? This name does not sound familiar. And what you do, you start making phone calls to the call center. Sometimes you get a good reply, sometimes you are in a long queue. And one of the banks partnered with a technology company from Google Maps, and they made two changes. One, they started publishing the merchant name, which could be different from legal names. So Starbucks may not show as a Starbucks. And they started also showing the location where the card was swiped. And this company realized that there was a 25% reduction in their call center call volumes straight away, shaving off a large part of their OPEX on maintaining that call center. I mean, this is one of my personal favorites. Next case study is of a ride sharing company called Gojek, a very fairly popular name in Indonesia and large parts of Southeast Asia. This is a very powerful case study where they've leveraged Google Maps and cloud together. Imagine millions of rides happening will be leading to billions of queries being called per day. Imagine the amount of data which is generated. So Google Cloud and Google Maps was used together. BigQuery was put at play and leading to riders reaching to consumers on time, consumers reaching to their home and home on time, and everybody being happy at the end of the day. So a very happy and a impressive case study. So after having seen all these experiences, we brought about some changes in our maps. So what changes did we bring about? So we launched something which is known as a Google Maps platform. And now when we think of Google Maps, you should think of three things: maps, routes, and places. Maps takes you from place A to place B. Maps, sorry, lets you imagine the world around you. Routes lets you take you from place A to place B. And places lets you imagine all points of interest close to you. So why did we do this? So we wanted to make a platform which is very simple to understand. We wanted to make our pricing which is very simple. We wanted to make a platform which grows as you grow. And we wanted to offer a platform which works along with your cloud platforms. And some of you may already be cloud customers. So fundamentally, what are some of the changes which we brought about? One, we've given one common console which lets all GCP and GMP projects work together seamlessly. We got a lot of feedback from our customers saying that, hey, I don't want a bundle of pricing. How about I get charged for only the API that I use? And voila, the new platform exactly lets you do that. And third, most important change that we did was customers gave us feedback that you ask me to pay everything upfront for next 1 year, and our business is so dynamic that our volume forecast changes. So our clients ended up buying too little or too much, which we realized was very unfair. So the new platform now is very flexible. You can sign up pretty much like today, and you are ready to go from tomorrow morning. And at the end of month one, you'll get a bill exactly basis what you've used. Not more, not less. If you use more, you get volume discounts. If you don't use, you get a zero bill, academically speaking. So the control is completely in your hand, and that's exactly the change what we've brought. So now I'm sure you must be wondering, how do I manage this change? How do I navigate this complexity? Don't you worry. We have our amazing partner Searce to help you navigate this change. And let's hear it from Searce from here now. Over to you, Satyam. I'll put myself on mute.
Thank you, Gaurav, for such generous words. Hello, everyone. I'll just start off with quickly introducing the organization. So, Search is a premier and specialization partner for all Google products. We like to brand ourselves as a cloud consulting company, but we are more than that. We are a digitally transformation organization wherein we help companies realize their current operations and how these operations can be transformed using tools that we specialize in. The tools that I'm talking about are our expertise in Google Cloud Platform, Google Maps platform, and in other products like G Suite, which is like an work collaboration tool, etc. We have been in this space for more than 15 years now, and we are a strong team of around 600 people with operations in India, Southeast Asia, Americas, and Europe. So, what's new from Google Maps platform? As Gaurav explained just now, there has been some significant change in the pricing model and the way that APIs have been structured. So the new platform is fully integrated with GCP. It's a completely new suite. So for developers, it's very easy because they can use the APIs from a single console. There is not a separate console or a separate platform uh, uh, wherein they have to utilize their Google Maps APIs, and it's a pay per use model. And as Gaurav mentioned, it's completely scalable according to their requirements. The advantage of integrating Google Maps platform with GCP is that you can also leverage strong cloud services that Google has to offer, along with the machine learning APIs, which Google is expert in, and build a combined product, which is a location intelligence product, which can help resolve your company use cases. So let's start off with explaining how does the new licensing model work. Right. So that's the first point that I'll cover. So the product has been simplified into three broad categories: maps, routes, and places. As Gaurav mentioned, maps is the category which help you build beautiful customizable map. The maps can be customized according to your application's user interface to match the theme. You can put in your points of interest using the APIs which are in the maps bucket. The routes bucket helps you get directions and the distances between 2 points. Routes is also the are the APIs which help you with route optimization. So for use cases like daily milk runs, wherein the person needs to plan his daily route, Google Maps APIs in the routes bucket help you plan the entire journey for the day. Along with it gives you the most optimal route which will take the least amount of time for traveling. Places is the most API which will give you the most rich data about a place. So for example, you need to know in a radius of 2 kilometers around your house how many restaurants, how many movie theaters are there. So that is something that is given by Places API. It has data for around 100 million places across the globe, and this is the category which gets updated every day with millions of data points. So that is the product simplification. Yeah, so the APIs are available for all the platform. It's not just for web, it's also for Android and iOS, so which is the most popular mobile platform. The APIs are available for that. So these are the just broad categories and what the APIs which are in each and every bucket. Though the launch of Google Maps platform marks the end of standard and premium plan. So earlier there were two different plans known as standard plan, which gave some free limits up to a certain amount, and there was an enterprise license known as premium plan. This was quite confusing for customers because they were not sure which plan to go with. So Google has simplified the entire thing. They have made just one pay as you go monthly model. I'll just explain that as I go forward. So now it's an individual API billing. You can choose to use which API you want, and you will be only billed for that. So all Google Maps customers going forward will get $200 free credits every month. So 200. So what I mean by $200 monthly is all the APIs combined usage. If it's less than $200, you won't get any invoices or any bill for that. So that is the $200 credit. Another change, and which is a significant change with Google Maps platform, is the mobile map loads for iOS, Android, and Embed. That is only for displaying map on your mobile phone. It's completely free. So that's a very good news for consumers who have a lot of mobile map loads. So they can do it in an unlimited manner without being worrying about getting a charge for that. Also, Google has removed the gold support plan. It's now Google is giving free support for all the customers, regardless of the plan they were on previously. The free map loads limit that was there on the standard plan has been removed, and all requests now must need have a client key. If you are an user of Google Maps APIs and you haven't have an authorized key enabled, then you won't be able to call the APIs anymore. So if that is the case with you, please check that. And if you have any questions, you can surely contact us. So now, how can Searce help us? So being a premier partner, we are doing an outreach campaign to each of our existing customers and also new prospects. And we are telling them that this is the impact, this is the change that is coming up for the new plan. So for the new customers can start exploring GMP, that is Google Maps platform, without any upfront charges. Everyone is eligible for $200 credit per month. If they need to explore the use cases and understand that which APIs to be used for which use case, they can surely contact Searce. We can have a free consultation call wherein we'll explain that the use case that you want to realize can be done using these APIs. CS can also help you in setting up a billing account, which is very easy and quick. For existing premium plan customers who are not onboarded with us, they can also surely reach out to us and get a free consultation and understanding that their existing usage on premium plan, how will it look if we move to this new pricing model. So they can also certainly reach out to us. We can explore areas of optimization for the existing usage. So as I mentioned, it's a pay as you go model. So every API call will be charged going forward. So it's really imperative that we do an optimization session with your developers to make them realize that to use the APIs in an optimal manner and still realizing the functionality. And additional use cases can be explored. This is a beauty of the Google Maps platform because it allows you to explore this without any additional charges. You can start off with implementing new use cases without making any changes to the billing or to the console. Asset tracking customers. So those who are not familiar with asset tracking, these are the customers which are mostly belong to logistics or last mile delivery companies. They had an special plan known as asset tracking under premium plan. So now there has been some revision to the existing asset tracking customers. Old asset tracking customers will have to consult with the partner whether they are eligible for the new asset tracking license or not. The foremost requirement is that you need to have at least 20,000 assets to be able to be qualified for this new plan, and only a few use cases are eligible for it. CS can act as a consultation partner and help you understand what are these use cases, and if you are eligible, then there are some steps which need to be followed, some permissions that the client has to take, and CS can help with all the formalities, and we can get you started with the asset tracking plan as well. New pricing models or charges are applied as and when the plan is launched in India. Standard plan customers. So as I mentioned, there were two types of customers earlier, standard plan and premium plan. So now the old standard plan customers who are currently using Google Maps APIs but are not being charged will be affected with the Google Map platform launch. they should contact partners like Searce to understand these changes and find out more about the pricing and the monthly billing. Currently they have some 2 to 3 months to understand these changes and plan accordingly for the upcoming changes, so that they know that going forward, once the new platform launches, these are the costs that we'll have to incur every month. How can I estimate my spend on the new Google Maps under the new platform? I'll be explaining that now. So this information is available on the publicly facing Google Maps platform website. As I mentioned, it's a pay-as-you-go model. So every API call will be charged. In this chart, you can see in the first column you get $200 monthly equivalent free usage. So what does that mean is, if you are only using static maps, you get 1 lakh API calls a month for free for $200, and that is given that you are only using static maps. If you are using any other API in conjunction with that, then the combined billing of all the API usage, if it is more than $200, then we deduct the $200 credit, and that the remainder is the amount that you have to pay. It's a slab wise pricing. So up till 1 lakh, there are some certain charges. For example, for static maps, every 1,000 calls up to 1 lakh will be charged $2. Then as and when your volume increases, there are more volume discounts which are applicable. You can see after 5 lakh, it is telling you to contact sales. That is where a partner comes in. So in total, for Google Maps platform, there are 7 discounting tiers. But with partner, with Google, you are eligible for only first 2 tiers. But if you start your billing with a partner, you are eligible for all the discounting tiers, and partner is responsible for applying for volume discounts on the customer's behalf. There has been a significant change in Places API. So the people who have been using Places API in the past, they should keep a note of this. So now the data which Places API used to return, this has been divided into 3 broad categories. That is basic data, atmosphere data, and contact data. Now these fields are charged separately. So a note has to be made to know that which kind of data is required by us. Contact data will give you information like website, phone, and the opening hours of the place. Atmosphere data will give you reviews. It will also tell you the pricing levels, that how costly is the restaurant, for example. And basic data will give you basic information like latitude, longitude of the place, and the complete canonical name. So that kind of an information is given by Places API, and these categories are charged separately, as you can see. So certainly existing Places API users should contact partners and understand these changes. Yeah, as mentioned previously, this is the same thing. Places API have been divided into 3 buckets: broadly, basic, contact, and atmosphere. For using basic information, it's not charged separately. It is included in your Places API call. But for contact and atmosphere, it's an additional $3 and $5 charge respectively. Yeah, this is the same thing. Autocomplete. So there has been some more additions to the Places API. There has been some difference in the autocomplete per character and autocomplete sessions. More information can be gathered by contacting partners. You can visit the links mentioned in this slide, and we'll also be mentioning these links in the description of this video. You can certainly go into these links and check out the new pricing plan. And there has been some changes to the terms of services as well. You can certainly go and read about them. To estimate the offline pricing, that is the pricing that you will get if you bill through a partner. Searce is skilled in understanding both the business and technical sides of your Maps application, so they can help you understand these use cases and also estimate your monthly API usage. How do I activate additional discounting tiers? Like I mentioned, there are a total of 7 discounting tiers, 5 of them which are applicable only if you're billing with a partner. So how do you activate those? So CS will prepare a price estimation on GMP based on your monthly API calls, and it will manually apply to Google for unlocking these additional discounting tiers. The additional discounted tiers are unlocked only if your monthly API volume is more than 5 lakh. So if it is a case that you have forecasted your API calls more than 5 lakh, certainly contact partners like Searce, so that you get benefited with the volume discounts. How can you move to your existing billing to a partner console? So it's certainly an advantage in the case of if you have more than 5 lakh API calls a month to get the benefit of volume discounts. It's certainly best to contact a partner. But even in the case that your billing is less than that, you should preferably contact a partner, because you get partner fee support. So there is nothing separately that Searce will charge you for these consultation. It is included in your Google Maps billing. So you can certainly contact a partner and try to move your existing Google Maps billing to a partner console. We will create a sub-billing account for you. It's a seamless process. CS can guide you in everything. That you don't have to do any changes to your code or anything else. We'll create a billing account for you. We'll share the billing account details with the customer, and we'll help with the linking of billing account to the project, so that they get onboarded with Searce, so that we also have a visibility of your usage. So in a case that there is some unexpected API calls on your projects, we are also able to monitor it, and we then inform our customers regularly about these discrepancies. So how can Searce support with your Google journey? So this is the CS benefit. We have the domain expertise for Google Maps. We have a very strong technical as well as sales team for both Google Maps as well as Google Cloud. So if there is any other product that you are exploring other than Google Maps, we can certainly help you with your Google Cloud and your G Suite services. We are one of the 9 partners who achieved the location services specialization tag last year. The third and the most obvious advantage of billing with a partner is additional discounting tiers. But discounts is something which supersedes, which can be comes in the conjunction with consulting that Searce provide, and which is a free consultation. We have a detailed consultation call with all of our customers, wherein we understand their use cases in depth and help them with the price changes from the old to the new pricing model. So we have some 5 minutes for the Q&A. So we have some questions as well.
So I would encourage everyone to please put in your questions, as many as you can.
Right. So
and meanwhile, we can start maybe Satyam taking the questions which are already there.
Right. So we have a question from Mr. Sai Reddy. He has mentioned that how far we can go with weather statistics. So the weather statistics by I think you are mentioning the atmosphere data that you get with places. So the information that atmosphere data will give you is the atmosphere. By what does Google mean by atmosphere is the restaurant reviews, the ratings of the restaurant. That is what is meant by the atmosphere data. So it's not your weather as in the climate change. It's basically the information about the place that is what has been given by atmosphere API.
Maybe we want to clarify if there is any weather related information we can or cannot give from the APIs, if not atmosphere, any through anything else.
Yeah, so weather information is certainly not something that Google Maps APIs gives you. There is an API known as time zone API which gives you the time zone details. But as far as Maps is concerned, that is the kind of data that you will get. We have a question, but it's from an anonymous source. As I would like to know how the new plan will impact my service. So certainly, this is what we have been talking throughout the webinar. You can directly contact us. My email address is mentioned in the Q&A page. You can just certainly drop me an email saying that how the new plan will be impacting my services. It's also mentioned that are there any changes that you will have to do to your code? From the perspective of billing, there is no change that you have to do. But if we want to employ some optimization techniques, there are certainly some coding changes that needs to be done. And this is what something that we'll have to discuss. So we have another question, and that is I'll pass over the question to Gaurav. The question is,
So before we do that, so just in the previous question, so I mean, there will be a new key required for customers undergoing migration, and to that effect, yes, there's a new key which you may need to put in into your code. But if your question is from an architecture perspective, or will you need to write a new code? No, that's not going to be required. Just clarifying further to what Satyam said.
okay. So the next question is, I see an increase in pricing for my usage on the new plan. Can you help us know why there is an increase in pricing from the old one? So that is the question.
Sure. So thanks for the question. So let me just clarify this. There are two, three parts which we need to understand. First of all, there is no default price increase. It is a plan change which has happened. And as we speak, I just got off a call with a customer yesterday. It's a navigation company, Pune based, and their overall billing in the new plan has gone down by 1/10. And the reason is because they took a plan last time and they were not using a lot of those APIs which came as part of the bundle in that plan. And in the new plan, since it is being charged only specific to that API which is being used, so their new billing is substantially lower. In your case, why has the price increased? It is possible that the APIs that you are using now probably come at a cost which is different from the costing which you had gotten earlier. Of course, we'll need to understand your use case a little more. In some other cases, what is happening is customers who were probably using a plan known as a asset tracking plan earlier, uh, that model itself has changed. An asset tracking plan gave unlimited calls and unlimited APIs previously. Now that plan has become is allowed only for specific logistics companies, and the minimum commitment required for that plan is 20,000 assets compared to 1,600 assets earlier. So it is likely that if you fall in that category, you will probably see a price increase. So it is a very use case based decision. Is there a fundamental thinking behind price increase? No, there is no thinking behind increasing the price. There is a thinking behind changing the model. Like I had explained in my presentation, that we wanted to go away from a prepaid model, wanted to give more flexibility and control in the hands of customer. Now, if you end up using more APIs, you also get more discount, but your overall monthly bill may increase, may stay the same, may decrease. It is hard to generalize this. So that'll be the response.
Okay. Another question we have from an anonymous user is there no yearly prepaid commitment now? So that is what their question is.
Yeah, so I think we briefly mentioned this during the presentation. That's the best part about this new plan, that you will sign a contract which will be valid for at least a year, like any other contract. And we would hope that once you sign up, you continue to use maps. And if you're running any pilot or POC, the recommendation is to do it for at least 3 months before you can reach to any meaningful conclusion. But short answer to your question is yes, you do not pay us anything upfront. You technically have every right to stop using maps after whenever you are not comfortable. So there is no advanced payment as such. I mean, Searce may ask for a small payment just to close the contract, but it is not like you have to pay us for 1 year.
Right. Yeah, so that are the questions that we have so far. Yeah, you can certainly reach out to us at the mentioned email addresses, and or you can directly search for our website cs.com/Google Maps. You can put in your queries there. Our marketing analyst would certainly get us in touch with you. And so this video will be archived for those who have not been able to see it live. So do certainly see this and share amongst your peers who are certainly working on Google Maps platform.
All right, it's time. Thank you so much for taking out time from your busy schedule, especially in the first half of the day. We hope it was worth your time, and we do hope that we continue to be in touch one way or the other.
Sure. Thank you, Gaurav. Thank you, everyone, for your time.